love sports, but over the years, I've learned one thing the hard way. Sometimes training harder doesn't necessarily mean training better. A few years ago, I even fractured my ribs on my right side while I was learning to ollie on a skateboard. That experience really changed the way I think about training and staying active. I used to spend a huge amount of time playing badminton. For about 6 months, I was training really intensively. I even hired 3 coaches from different countries, one from Indonesia, one from Malaysia, and one from China. And during those 6 months, I probably made the kind of progress that would normally take someone a few years. But there was a price. I eventually injured my shoulder. And even after around 2 years, it still hasn't completely recovered. I still love badminton, but that experience taught me something really important. If you enjoy a high-intensity sport, proper training and recovery really matter. And if you start feeling persistent pain or discomfort, sometimes the smartest thing you can do is stop, rest, and give your body time to recover. Because of my shoulder, I eventually had to step away from badminton, even though I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You had to go, but I'm just so happy I had you.
So after that, I turned to running. Running was simple. I could do it alone, almost anywhere. I didn't need much equipment. But when my runs started reaching around 10 to 15 kilometers, I sometimes began feeling discomfort in my knees. Longer runs simply put more stress on my knees than I was comfortable with. I don't know what's wrong with my knees. Maybe because I did too many squats. My knees are not very comfortable. I should stop. And to be completely honest, running alone for a long time can sometimes feel a little repetitive. So I started looking for another way to stay active. Then, by chance, a friend gave me a purple bicycle. Later, I changed it into the white setup I preferred. I've always liked white cycling gear, so now the bike matches my white helmet and cycling shoes much better. And that's how cycling gradually become part of my life. What I really love about cycling is that I don't have to treat every ride like a competition. I'm not a professional cyclist. I don't need to chase a certain speed, cadence, or personal record every time I go out. Sometimes I just put on my helmet, get on the bike, slow down, and enjoy the scenery along the way. For me, the whole point of exercise is to stay active, stay healthy, and take care of my body, not destroy it, trying to prove something. And cycling gives me that balance. But there is still one problem I often run into. Whenever I'm cycling somewhere new, I usually rely on my phone for navigation. And under strong sunlight, reflections on the screen can make the map much harder to see. When you're cycling, even take your eyes off the road for a little too long isn't ideal. I don't want to keep staring at my phone just for finding out which turn I'm supposed to take. And that's where this TORRAS SunView AR screen protector comes in. TORRAS sent me this screen protector to try, and what interested me most wasn't just the protection itself. It was the anti-reflection feature. AR stands for anti-reflection, and the whole idea is to reduce glare and makes the screen easier to see outdoors. And honestly, this is probably the feature I notice most when I'm cycling. Even under strong sunlight, I can still see the screen pretty clearly without constant tilting my phone or changing the angle just to read the map. That makes navigation much more comfortable for me, especially when I'm riding somewhere I'm not familiar with. And instead of just testing this at my desk, I wanted to take it outside and use it the way I actually use my phone on my bike in real-world conditions. A few days ago, I was cycling when it started raining. Raindrops got all over the screen, but they didn't affect the screen protector at all. I could simply wipe the water away and keep using my phone normally. Of course, the screen protector also gives the display an extra layer of protection against everyday scratches, things like keys, coins, or other objects in your pocket or bag. And considering how expensive it is to replace the display on a phone, especially this iPhone 17 Pro Max, I definitely want that extra protection. And there is one thing that actually surprised me, and I don't think TORRAS really talks about this enough. The surface feels incredibly smooth. I already really like the feeling on the original iPhone display, so I wasn't expecting a screen protector to feel better. But somehow, this one actually feels even smoother under my finger. My finger just glides across the screen. The touch experience is surprisingly good, and that's something I noticed almost immediately after installing it. And speaking of installation, TORRAS says this screen protector is quick and easy to install, like in 30 seconds. So I decided to make it a little more interesting. Instead of installing it myself, I asked my friend's 10-year-old daughter to do it for me. And she did it cleanly in a very short amount of time. If a 10-year-old can install it properly without making a mess, I think that tells you quite a lot about how simple the installation process is. So after using the screen protector in a real world, while cycling under strong sunlight, in the rain, and everyday use, I think it does a really good job of solving the main problem I had with using my phone outdoors. The anti-reflection feature is genuinely useful. The surface feels extremely smooth, installation is simple, and you still get that extra layer of protection for your display. So if you're looking for a screen protector for your iPhone, especially you spend a lot of time outdoors, I think TORRAS SunView AR is definitely worth considering. Thanks again to TORRAS for sponsoring this video and sending the SunView AR screen protector over for me to test. As always, I wanted to test it in a way I actually use my phone out here in a real world. Now I'm gonna get back on my bike. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.